Hello everybody, my name is Emma, I'm from South Carolina. Why did I do that accent? I don't know. Fun fact, it's like 80 something degrees here in South Carolina and I can't deal. So I'm here with a Christmas book haul. I'm also maybe going to be here with a book unhaul at the same time, well after this, at the same time, if this doesn't go too long, the book haul portion. First of all, I have a couple things to say. One, thank you guys for subscribing. I just hit 1,000 subscribers. That is very cool, mind-boggling. I think, I don't know, I can't deal. It's really neat. It's really, really neat. It's like the size of my university, almost. I know, I go to a really small university. And then secondly, I love book hauls, and they're like the most fun thing. It's fun to see what people get, and I especially love Christmas book hauls because people tend to get books that they wouldn't have gotten normally for themselves because like their friends or family got them for them. So that's very cool. But I just think it's really important to remember how lucky I am. Like, I have to remember myself how lucky I am that I got these books, and like how fortunate I am and how grateful I am. And I don't know, I just like wanted to put that into the universe because I don't know, I think I personally get wrapped up in Christmas and I forget like the point of Christmas and the point of holidays is not like getting the stuff, it's about being grateful and being with your family and stuff. So I just wanted to say that. I don't know, I feel like it's important to say, but it's not me like saying, preaching, not at least not on purpose. I'm just gonna shut up. I don't know if that makes sense. It's more of me wanting to say that. Put that into the universe. Okay, so I'm about to binge a bunch of Christmas book hauls right after this, most likely. First of all, I got these really cool socks. I got them in yellow, too, from my boyfriend. And they're, like, amazingly awesome band book socks. And they're really cool, and I really like them a lot. They're pretty perfect. Okay, next. The first 3 books I got were from my mom. And I had not heard of these before. And she was like, oh, there's a backstory behind this. Well, I said it. There was a backstory. Okay. Strike that, reverse it. Start again. So, my family really likes this historian named Lucy Worsley. She's a British historian. You might have heard of her. She's written books and done lots of BBC documentaries. And I joke that I want to be her. Actually, half joke that I want to be her. Part of me is very serious about wanting to be her in a non-creepy way. So my mom, I guess, watched this documentary where she talked about this author and how this author was her favorite author growing up. And so she got me the first 3 books in this series. It's written by this woman named Dorothy L. Sayers, who was a writer in the early 20th century. And she was one of the first women accepted into Oxford. And there's something about how this whole series, which is like a detective series, she had to write it from a male perspective because it was the only way that it would get published. It's very interesting. But, so she got me the first 3 books, and the first one's called Strong Poison. And then we have His Carcass, and then we have Gaudy Night. I'm very excited to read these. They're part of the Lord Peter Wimsey mystery, so Lord Peter Wimsey mystery with Harriet Vance. So I'm very excited about those. And the same sort of vein is a book that I'm very excited about. I'm saying very a lot. That's Our Spoons Came from Woolworths by Barbara Commons with an introduction by Emily Gould. First of all, beautiful cover. Second of all, I have such a love, such a keen fascination, is that even a phrase? I don't know, with like early to mid 20th century works written by women. One of my favorite books is this book called Miss Peregrine Lives for a Day by Winifred Watson. It got turned into a movie with Amy Adams. It's really fun, but I really like the book. And so I heard about this book, and I was like, yes, it was recently re-released, and I don't know. I don't really know much about it, but I'm kind of excited that I don't know much about it. It's a very slim novel. The thing is, if I know too much about a book, I tend not to want to read the book. Which works well in BookTube. Not at all, because you hear lots about books, about like a few books, and you're like, I'm like, whoa, get really overwhelmed. I don't know if that happens to anybody else. Okay, next, some funny books. I have a book that I was so excited to get, and that is Pawnee, the Greatest Town in America by Leslie Knope. This is the thing, guys. Pawnee, Parks and Rec is my absolute favorite show of all time. I doubt anything will replace it. It's dramatic, but true. And I do not own this book, and I'm very excited to do because it's an in-canon guidebook to Pawnee written by my hero Leslie Knope. So I was very excited to get this. I also got a book called Allie in Wonderland and Other Tall Tales by Allie Wentworth. Allie Wentworth is a comedian. She was on In Living Color. I'm a big comedy nerd, and there's a show called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, hosted by Jerry Seinfeld. Some of the time it sucks and is not a very good show, but sometimes it's really good. And Allie Wentworth was on, and she was really funny. She's also married to George Stephanopoulos, who was the press secretary for Bill Clinton, and also he's on GMA, Good Morning America. So, I don't know. It's like a collection of funny stories, and I like that sort of thing. I also got a book that looks like a YA book, but it's actually not. It's a field guide to Awkward Silences by Alexandra Petrie, and it's just a book about being a 20-something and dealing with awkwardness in life. It looks funny. Megan Amram liked it. Megan Amram liked it, who I think is really funny. So these are good for January because I get really sad in January, so it's nice to be picked up with some fun lady written humor. Speaking of ladies, that transition. The Diary of a Teenage Girl, An Account in Words and Pictures by Minnie Hodge? By Phoebe Glockner. I guess that's the character's name. This is a graphic novel. It's very thick. There's words in it too, like typed text. It looks really funny. I think it's like a re-released thing. This is from 2002, but they like re-released it recently. I don't know, and I saw someone on Goodreads had liked it, and I was like, oh, this looks cool, and so I asked for it, and I'm excited to have it. It's about like a teenage girl in the 70s, so that's neat. And then, the book I'm most excited about is this book called Rain, A Natural and Cultural History by Cynthia Barnett. First of all, this is beautiful. I don't even know if you can see the true beauty of this book. This is a natural and cultural history of rain. So, I know that sounds boring, but it's also awesome. It's like, talks about weather, literally weather, and also like rain in movies and television and books and all that sort of thing, and I'm very excited to read this book. Very excited. Okay, so then a really, really quick book unhaul. If my camera cuts out, then we'll just see what happens. Okay, books I'm unhauling. Every year, I tend to just like get rid of a ton of books. This is only half of them, the other half has already been taken. So these are the ones that I'm going to go to Second and Charles and sell there, because they're, I don't know, to get more books just to replace them. So we have Mosquitoland, a novel by David Arnold. Just not interested in this one, to be honest. Got it on a whim. Not really feeling it. Every Day by David Leatherthan, a book I've owned for years and don't really plan on ever reading. Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I will say I read a review of this that painted this book in a not as beautiful light, so that kind of like dissuaded me from wanting to read it. Tokyo Heist by Diana Wren. Again, have owned it forever. Never gonna read it, most likely. Peaches for Mons de la Cure, Return to the World of Chocolat by Joanne Harris. I love Chocolat because it's so beautiful and heartwarming, and this book is apparently very depressing, and I don't want it to ruin my image of Chocolat. The Vagenda, A Zero Tolerance Guide to the Media by Holly Baxter and Rihanna Lucy Coslett, a book that I got last Christmas, and a book that I started reading and was just bored by. It was just stuff I kind of already knew from reading other things and watching documentaries. This one's a little bit controversial. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Not gonna read it. Just not that interested in it. The Paris Wife by Paula McLean. Tried reading this, just didn't get into it. Don't really like the size either. Just find it like an awkward. It's really thin, but it's also like big. I don't know. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. A book I've read and don't plan on ever reading again. The Lover's Dictionary by David Leatherthan. Just doesn't really. I've read it, and it was a good read, but I don't really feel like owning it. Like, I'm not going to read it again. Or, either I have to want to read it again, or it has to be a book that I want to just keep, I guess. A part of me says keep this book. My second copy of Yes, Please by Amy Poehler. I already had a copy, and somebody gave me this, and I already had a copy, so I'm just going to I don't need 2 copies. I know. I thought about it for a while. I thought about 2 copies of that, and I was like, I probably don't need 2 copies. Silas Mariner by George Eliot. Just don't really want to keep. Seriously, I'm Kidding by Ellen DeGeneres. Read this. Very, just like, I don't want to say boring, but not memorable. It wasn't a very memorable read. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Did a video about my feelings about this book. I'm not a huge fan. Orcs and Crake by Margaret Atwood. I don't like a post-apocalyptic books very much, so I got, again, oh my god, I can't talk, again, kind of got that on a whim, and don't think I'm ever going to read it. Sweet Scarlet by Maureen Johnson, a book I read, and I really enjoyed it, but I don't need to keep it. I don't need to keep it. And the last two, White Cat by Holly Black. I liked it, don't need to keep it, and my mother, she killed me, my father, he ate me, 40 New Fairy Tales. This is a short story collection. I don't really like fairy tales, and I'm not a huge fan of most short story collections, so that one seemed like a no-brainer. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. My best of books, best books of 2015 list will be coming soon. Have a wonderful day.